So what I'd like to share to you is the eco-structure architecture that we have been deploying in the market all over the world. So eco-structure, it's an IoT, Internet of Things enabled architecture. So serving for end markets. Specifically, you have your buildings. So it's like commercial buildings or residential buildings. You have your data center, like telcos or banks. You have your industry. So in the Philippines, you have a lot of, you have different industrial segments available in the Philippines. You have your food and beverage, cement factory. So we have, it's very much present in the Philippines. And then you have your infrastructure, including the electrical utilities, water utilities, etc. So these are the four end markets that we're serving with 6 domains of expertise. So that is eco-structure power, eco-structure building, IT, machine, plant, and grid. So these are the 6 domains that we have. So eco-structure, it consists of, it comprises of 3 different layers, or 3 layers. Starting from connected products, edge controls, up to apps, analytics, and services. Let me start with connected products. Connected products, we believe, Internet of Things, it starts with things that can be connected. So Schneider, we develop products like circuit breakers, relays, UPS. So we connect those things, and we provide information. Okay. And then on the next layer is what we call edge control. So edge control, I'd like to call this as like an on-premise software where we have our customers full visibility of their energy consumption, monitoring, controlling, and manage how they can save energy. So this is a layer of software platform. So what has for us for the past 5 years, apps, analytics, and services has been our one of the innovations that we have done, developing this full portfolio of apps, analytics, and services. So now using your mobile phones, you can just see your energy consumption, manage it, or even control it. Just using your smartphones, using your laptop, etc. Okay? So Innovation Summit is all about this architecture. So you'll see this architecture when you go down to the Innovation Hub later, which I personally invite you. So if you need to know more details, so it's our pool of experts, local engineers, our offer managers, and even experts from the region are downstairs to support you. Or if you have any questions. We also have the breakout session, which I'd like to take this opportunity to invite everyone to attend. So we will have 4 different breakout sessions that will be running simultaneously, right? So one is all about buildings and power. So it's entitled Efficient Buildings and Power Distribution Redefined. So here we're expecting that the building segment, property developers will attend this breakout session. And afterwards, we have the panel discussion. So we have guests from the industry. We have a contractor there, a building contractor, a consultant, and we have someone from the Philippine Energy Efficiency Alliance Incorporated. And then the next breakout session that we have is the data center. It's all about data center. So it's data center in the cloud at the edge. So our customers from the data center segment, telcos, telecommunications, BPOs, banks, etc., will be coming over. We have again. So after each presentation, we will have the panel discussion, and we're expecting. We have the data center contractor, which will be attending the panel discussion, and our regional experts from our IT business. Okay, and then we have industries, so Intuitive Industries. So we're expecting our people from the manufacturing plants, our facilities engineers, our operators, facility managers, or even business owners to attend this session. So we have panelists from our regional experts within Schneider Electric. And then last but not the least, we have the energy or the grid breakout session. So this will be focusing mostly on the electric utilities segment. So we'll be talking about smart grid, demand side management, control system software here. So we'll have customers from utilities, distribution utilities, and electrical cooperatives. So you know, in the Philippines we have the provinces, we have all the electrical cooperatives. So we're expecting them to attend. And on the panel, we have experts from Schneider. We have someone from the biggest utility in the Philippines, and we have another one from Visayas. So from Mindanao actually, and then from PNOC, our panelist, one of them is from PNOC. So there you have it. So I think again, it would be good for you to attend. I encourage everyone to attend this breakout session as well as the Innovation Hub, which is downstairs. Right? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Homer. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As Homer mentioned, this is actually the very first time that the Philippines is hosting the Innovation Summit here. And it's all about being able to bridge technologies with the things that we need here locally. And I'm very excited actually for you guys to experience the Innovation Hub that we have downstairs. And like what Homer had mentioned, we do have a series of breakouts that we encourage also all of you to partake in, so that you can learn more about not only the innovations that are there, but also what we can benefit from these technologies as well. So for our next presenter, we actually have with us the Partner Project and Eco-Building Sales Director of Schneider Electric Philippines. Mike Sapitan started his career at Schneider Electric as the Channel and Offer Marketing Head in 2016. And Mike has been in the marketing and sales industry for actually 13 years and has worked for a number of companies, including RFM Corporation, Cemex Philippines, and Philips Lighting. So ladies and gentlemen, let us all please welcome Mr. Mike Sapitan.
Good afternoon. Magandang hapon po. So thank you for joining us this afternoon. This is a very significant event for Schneider Philippines. It's a very significant day and an event for us. It's a showcase of all the research and development that has been done by Schneider Electric globally. So having an innovation summit here in the Philippines, we are translating to local whatever global technologies have been developed globally. So they develop and we are translating it here to local settings. So Homer was talking earlier about eco-structure, and let me just talk a few points on this slide. We are expecting to have 50 billion connected devices by year 2020. That's more or less 10 connected devices per person on the planet. Mobile phones, laptops, the watches that you have that are connected, even the cars, GPS systems. These are all connected devices. And by 2020, each person will have a control of 10 connected devices in his or her possession. So aside from that, we are looking at a lot of information, terabytes, gigabytes, whatever you say, millions and millions of data. This means there's a lot of information going back and forth. Ang dami yan. The important thing is, how do we use and how do we maximize this information? How does it relate to us here in the Philippines? A lot of spending, I've said it earlier, the numbers speak for themselves. At the end of the day, we are trying to cope with a global trend. More and more, there's demand for power, electricity. Everything runs on electricity, smartphones, laptops, gadgets. Even cars now are starting to become electrically powered, which means it's becoming less and less carbonized. We are relying less and less to fossil fuels to power all of these equipment, which means renewable energy, solar, wind, and all of these things are also coming from everywhere. will have solar panels on their roofs and they give back to the grid. So it's becoming less and less centralized. Traditionally, di ba, meron tayong power plant, fossil fuel, diesel power, coal power, at doon nanggagaling yung kuryente na pinapadala sa mga tao. So, but now, more and more, we're seeing a lot more sources coming from decentralized sources. So, let me start by making an analogy. One of the things that we often encounter as a difficulty, pag masyado ng technical yung pinag-uusap, I'm not an engineer by profession, so I had to go through this and had to realize that we need to start translating into layman's terms. So I'm going to start with this person who has a headache, right? He has a headache. He went to the hospital. Sorry, medyo diretso agad siya sa MRI. Sorry, that's not the point. But the idea is, he has a headache. He goes to the hospital. He runs some tests. Most probably, a group of doctors, titingnan yung resulta, sabihin, sir, masakit lang ulo mo, umuwi ka na, uminom ka lang. Or it could be something else. It could be much more severe than that. So, all of this, involves information. Ano yung sakit? What caused it? What are the reasons behind it? And how do you solve it? So, imagine if we can do that for businesses, for buildings, for equipment. Imagine if you had that. It would be essential. Makakatulong yan for every business owner, for every facility manager, for everyone who's involved in the operation of the equipment or the building. And oftentimes, it's a reaction. Pag may naramdaman kang ganito, something already went wrong. If you're already feeling it. It's reactive. Papagamot ako kasi naramdaman ko yun. It's usually costly. It's disruptive. Plus, yung downtime. Homer mentioned earlier about, and Bea also earlier mentioned about Schneider's tagline of being life is one. What does it mean? If you are able to do the things that matter most, spending time with your family, making memories with them, going on a personal adventure to Japan, gusto ngayon yung Japan, and that in itself is the objective. But oftentimes, dahil sa trabaho, okay, sige, postpone ko na muna yung biyahe ko. Or, na-miss ko na naman yung parent-teacher conference ng anak ko sa school because I have to do something at work. Because there was an emergency that I had to attend to. And why do I have to spend a lot of time at work? Because I don't have the information. What happened? What went wrong? Where it happened? When it happened? And how am I going to fix it? So, nasa bahay ka na, buwi ka na, tinawagan ka, kailangan mo pumunta rito, ayusin natin ito. Need to go back. Kung nakatira ka sa Antipolo, yung opisina mo nasa Batangas, good luck na lang. Diba? So, imbis na nai-enjoy mo yung dinner sa bahay, sige, bis ko ulit, alis. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's what if this capability, pwede siya sa building, pwede siya sa planta, pwede siya sa equipment. At the very base of this solution is a smart panel. Homer earlier talked about connected products. How is a smart panel different? I'm sure sa mga bahay-bahay natin, malapit sa kusina siguro, pag binuksan mo yung cabinet doon, malamang isang beses mo lang sa buhay mo bubuksan. May panel board doon. Circuit breakers inside. How is it different from a smart panel? A smart panel is essentially an electrical distribution board. The difference is, lahat ng laman niya sa loob, connected. Hindi sa kuryente, but because of the communication capabilities. It sends out information, it receives information. What kind of information? Gumagana pa ako, o magtitrip ako dahil nagkaroon ng short circuit. Anong oras? All of these information can be sent and received by all the components that are inside the smart panel. They're connected. So how does this translate into the business? Imagine if the panel inside the building is smart. So the person who's maintaining the facility, nasa bahay na Same instance, kumakain na siya. The alert will tell him on his smartphone the circuit breaker that is handling the air conditioning unit failed at 11:53 p.m. because of a short circuit. na pumunta sa office to find out what's wrong. Saan nangyari? He already knows where. Circuit number 8, 11:53 p.m. All of this information is now available at the speed of touch. Right? The moment you slide, open the phone, message pops up. Circuit number 8, air conditioning handling unit. Short circuit. Ang bilis na. And then there's a question, no? And Homer mentioned it earlier. Apps and analytics. It moves even further up and recommends what you need to do. And all you need to do is press the green button that says execute. Sasabihin niya na doon, okay, short circuit, circuit number 8. Magkakaroon siya ng list of activities. I will send an email to the engineer. Kumuha ka ng ganitong klaseng breaker, pumunta ka sa electrical room number 2, palitan mo yung circuit number 8. It will send an email to purchasing. Mag-order ka na ng pamalit kasi gagamitin namin yung dalawa na nasira to replace. And all of these things, he needs to just press a button. And all of this will be in motion. No? So yung isang daliri niya pumipindot doon sa smartphone, yung isa sumusubo ng ilaga. Right? So, this is what we mean by life is on. No? In Schneider, we are enabling the people to experience life the way they want to without disrupting what's important. No? So at the very base of the solution is the smart panel. You will see that it's displayed in the innovation hub downstairs. You will see different smart panels. No? One for use hotel rooms, no? That controls the door, the aircon. All these. One is used for a big building that controls elevators, that controls the water pumps, all of these things. So, iba-ibang size, iba-ibang application, smart panel can do the job. So, at the end of the day, so this is what it means. Now, smart panels gives the facility the ability to access, monitor, and control their facilities at any time, at virtually any place, for as long as he's connected by internet, the cloud. So, in a nutshell, this is what Smart Panel does. It gives back the time lost to the person. So, go ahead and attend all your family life events. Never miss one anymore because of work. And Smart Panel is at the forefront of this particular solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As we mentioned, or as we have been mentioning earlier, here in the Innovation Summit Philippines is where we will showcase such technologies that would make our lives better and make life is on, meaning that we don't have to miss on anything, because everything is more efficient, effective for us and our needs as well. So at this point, I would actually like to call back on stage both Homer and Mike so that you guys can also ask them your questions, not only on Innovation Summit, but of course also innovations such as smart panels. So there you have it again, our speakers, Homer and Mike. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, hello. So I will be asking you guys to grab a mic, that's right, so that we can also take some questions from the floor. We do have the ladies from Team Asia that could help in passing around the microphone. When you do have a question, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to encourage that you say your name and also from which media you come from so that we can address you properly as well. Okay, so the Q&A portion of our press conference is officially open, but maybe I would like to ask the first question so that we can get the ball rolling, right? Okay, and my question actually is for Homer first, so that we can just give Mike a little break, right? So, Homer, you're the first one up for our question. So, you did say that this is the very first time in history that Schneider Electric is bringing the Innovation Summit here in the Philippines. So, my question is, what innovations can the Philippines expect from Schneider Electric, and what specific industries are you looking to innovate?
So, as we have been highlighting in the summit, so again, all our technologies are revolving around life is on. Make sure that you can meet Ilaga, doing something. life is on everywhere for every time, every moment. So we make sure that we will continue developing these technologies, new technologies and products, and making sure that these technologies will serve our customers, which are specific to this four end markets that we just discussed on the eco-structure. We have buildings, data center, we have industry, and the grid or the infrastructure. Making sure that our products are safe, reliable, efficient, sustainable, and connected.
Thank you. I do have a follow-up question on that one, Homer. So I know that these innovations will also be discussed later on during our breakouts, and our media friends will also be able to experience that in our innovation hub. But what do you think are the impact of these innovations here in the Philippines?
I think it will bring us to a greater level of efficiency with our customer businesses, not just businesses, but also in our personal lives, of our homes, through home automation. So it gives us another level to become more energy efficient. So when you do energy management, there's nothing to lose. It's everything to gain. So I think it's the clear message that we're trying to impart right now. It's all about becoming more energy efficient and becoming and doing energy management.
Fantastic. So this is just like the smart panels that Mike had actually shared with us. Okay, Mike, so I do have one question for you. Because we did talk about the Nilaga, and we also talked about the headache going to the MRI, right? And of course, also being able to look into all the solutions as possible and the things that we need to troubleshoot, right? So my question for you is, what do you think really is the problem that smart panels can address on a day-to-day basis or in everyday life?
Well, I think as I mentioned earlier to the group, there is a timeshare between yung professional life, the enablers of our livelihood, no, and the personal life, the ones that we, the goals that we want to achieve. I think the smart panel, although it does not directly answer all the personal problems that we have, helps in managing the pursuit of a balance between personal and your work. So in terms of work, kasi parang the only way that you can pursue your personal goals is if everything at work is reliable. Na pag oras ng trabaho, that's when we do it, and we don't need to spend more time at work than we have to. So the smart panel at the base of the solution helps ensure that your business is running smoothly. And if in the instance where there are emergencies that needs to be attended to, alam mo na agad yung information na kailangan mo to fix the problem. Similar to the example I showed earlier, there's a lot of time spent on trying to find out ano yung nangyari, kailan, saan, what caused it, tsaka ka palang magkakaroon ng idea on how you are going to fix it. But smart panels at the forefront will already help address that. And it only takes a swipe of your thumb on your smartphone, which you can carry around, even if you're watching a movie or attending to some event in school. It doesn't matter, You can actually be away from the place where you work and still have access to everything and important information at your fingertips.
Thank you, Mike. So as you can see, the benefits really are great, and it's really pushing us to be more efficient and also very sensitive to our time. It's not only about energy management, but it's also about time management and also experience management, I believe. So at this point, I'd like to open the floor for questions that we may have from our friends from the media. Once again, if you do have a question, kindly state your name and from what media outlet you were from. Questions from the floor? Yes. Hello, good afternoon.
Okay, I'll answer your question. Oh, there's two parts to your question. The first question is how much can you a business save, a business or a building? In the end, it depends on the information that you get. No, this is not like upgrading your lights to LED when paglagay mo ng ilaw sigurado automatically may savings. What the smart panel does is it gives you access to the information so you know exactly what you can do. So the smart panel also works kahit wala pang mali na nangyayari. The smart panel can measure the consumption depending on ano yung nakakabit dun sa panels. Alam mo kung gaano kalaki yung nagagastos mo sa aircon, gaano kalaki yung nagagastos mo sa outlets na nakakabit yung mga computers and laptops. So in that sense, you know exactly what you need to tap to make the necessary adjustments. So actually, the answer to your question is it's a wide variety. No? It could be small, it could be big, but at the end, it gives you the information, the right information, to address saan ako magagawa ng adjustment, saan ako gagawa ng activity, so I can save. So it's information, not necessarily automatically with energy saving. Now the second question is, if you want this at home, of course, smart panels you can use at home. I mean, everything that uses electricity will have some sort of an electrical panel somewhere. No? And the smart panel is scalable. It could be as small as the size of maybe a laptop. I'm sure you've seen that in your home. It could be as big as that door, for example, for a big facility. You know? The point is that the components inside are connected. So kung malaki yung requirement, malaki din yung breaker, malaki yung panel. Pag sa bahay, siguro mga 3-4 na maliliit na breakers, I'm sure you've seen it, mga maliliit na. And it will still do the exact same thing. The point here is that it is connected. It can give you the right information. So you in turn, you can act. You can choose how you want to save. That is I think the difference between, let's say, something na pag nilagay mo savings agad 40%, ganyan. This one, it's all up to you. Diba? At the end, you make the decision on how much you want to save.
Thank you very much. Jessica, do you have any more questions? We're good? Okay, cool. Do we have other questions from the floor? Okay, well, yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Kenneth from The Inquirer.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi. I just wanted to ask, the things that have been mentioned since this morning, they all sound so good. But I mean, are Filipinos ready for this? I mean, are Filipino businesses ready for this? Or are they still having second thoughts? I mean, I'm sure if you talk to the engineers or kung sino man nakakaintindi, I'm sure they would give this the go signal. But I mean, may mga hesitations pa rin ba tayo? Like, why should they do that? Or bakit hindi? If any.
You mean for smart panels or in general?
Like in general, yung mga innovations ninyo.
I think, well, you can answer it. But I think in terms of readiness, I think we are. In fact, we have deployed, lots of projects already in the Philippines. So, one is, you saw my presentation this morning, we have Manila Water, we have done smart grid in Cagayan de Oro. So, this has been in existence already. So, we have been doing this. So, well, that's to answer your question. So, I think the readiness is there already.
Or kung merong mga instance na they're not fully convinced yet, why are they not yet fully convinced?
Well, it's okay na ba naman? So I think,
But
so of course, businesses, it's always boils down to investment, capex investment, right? So I think that's one of the hesitations sometimes that we encounter in the market. But in the end, I think if it's a matter of convincing them, influence them, then they basically will get ROI. With this investment, you will get ROI easily. So depending on the scale, it could be 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, depending on the complexity of the project. Right? So, smart panel.
Yeah, I think for the smart panel, to answer your question, are they ready? I think the Philippines, compared to maybe our more developed neighbors, we're still very much in the Jurassic era of
panel is, as I mentioned earlier, we are translating the engineering terms to layman's so that it makes sense, it becomes relevant to even the normal person. The problem with the concept being acceptable now to most people is that they don't understand. They don't understand. We start talking about amperes, voltage, kite ratings. Everybody's like, okay, sige, doon na lang sa contractor, bahala na siya dyan. When in fact, it affects each and every one of us if we understood what it means. And if we are ready to spend, something like, are you willing to spend? Because at the end, we're not giving an electrical distribution alone. We're trying to help solve, like I mentioned earlier, living your life. Life is on. Diba? So this now translates into things that are far beyond engineering terms. That no contractor will be able to solve except for the person if he understands ano yung pinapasok niya. So the investment, the reason why you're not ready, for those people who are not ready, the reason why they're not ready is because they don't understand how it benefits them. Because for them, a circuit breaker is fine. I don't understand it. I'm sure I need it for my house, but it doesn't translate to him personally. It doesn't hit him like, actually, I don't have to miss my kids' parent-teacher conference. I don't have to, miss an anniversary dinner with the wife. All of these things. It's important, diba? But at the end of the day, it doesn't relate a simple electrical panel and how it's going to help him achieve all of these other goals in life. So, because we're at that stage. So to answer your question, because people don't understand how it benefits them outside of the engineering terms, what it's usually known for.
One more thing. Yung solutions po na in-offer ninyo, these are things that are standard or pwede nyo siyang i-customize to whatever the client needs?
See, so with regards to the smart panel, it's basically the same electrical panel board. Now you just put maybe a gadget that gives it connectivity, that makes it communicate. So as far as building it is concerned, it's not much different. Inside, it still looks exactly the same thing. We're just giving it the capability to communicate. And because of this capability, it opens up now a platform wherein we can gather all the information. In aggregate form, we can analyze all that information and give us the power to act depending on how we want to address whatever issues or concerns that we have.
So you're ready to create the service if you don't still have that service yet, if that's what the client needs.
It is readily available, and we are already we actually have several projects already that have smart panels. At this time, I cannot share the end users yet, but soon we need to get permission first. But at the end, it works, and we've done this for almost a year now, and it's not just a house. It's bigger installations, malls, hotels. So we've had installations of smart panels, and I think one anecdote that I can share with you, the one who manages the mall in particular, has actually the opportunity to go around his mall and not stay in his office, figuring out what to do. So immediately he knows, ang init pala dito sa second floor. Swipe. Dalawa dun sa aircon ko hindi umaandar. Bakit? It already tells him what's happening. So immediately he can call the people who are managing it. Bakit ito pinatay? Ang dami ng tao dito, ang init-init naman nakapatay yung dalawang aircon. And he didn't have to change what he was doing. He was walking around his mall making rounds. He didn't have to change that, because he took out his phone, swiped, and then he has information at his fingertips.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Kenneth. Do you have additional questions?
Thank
I think also, like to what Mike had mentioned, it really is life is on. Like, these technologies, like what you mentioned or shared earlier, it's really about not only transforming cities and being able to help us manage energy, but it's also really there to enrich our lives. And I think that it's more relatable when we understand, what do these, panels can do for us on on a day-to-day basis, as consumers as well, not only businesses. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for your questions. You have additional questions, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, sir. May we know your name as well?
Ay, sige, siya muna. Wala. Wala siya. Sige.
Ladies first. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Sue. I'm from Astig.ph. My question is, well, it's already been mentioned. So it's a smart panel, and then there is a gadget that you attach to it for that communicates. Okay, so what happens in the plant is communicated to, let's say, the plant owner or the plant manager. Okay. Similarly, I came from the fitness industry. Similarly, there are fitness equipments now that are connected. Okay, so you do your treadmill, it logs in your heartbeat and how long you've run and kung ilan calories yung nawala sa'yo. Also, it logs yung it also logs in, since it's connected already, it also logs in yung halimbawa pag may nasisira equipment. Recently, it has been introduced also here in Manila, but our problem is that we have the parang panel. We have it, so it's supposed to be connected. Ganon. Kaya lang the problem is the facilities that have the equipments are not connected. So there is still a difficulty, although globally it has already been introduced, Asia and other places, it has already been introduced. But here kasi in Manila, when you open, it's an app, you open it on an iPad, and then, syempre mahina yung internet dito sa atin. So, every time you open it to check, bago mo pa siya ma-check, naglalag siya. So, ang tagal. Lahat ng parang updates on the product and all of that comes in. So, hindi pumapasok agad yung, halimbawa, may diferensya si equipment na nasa Gold's Gym. So, hindi pa namin siya naayos. Something like that. So, but how, later on, how can you resolve these similar issues?
Sure. Now, to answer your question, for smart panels, the information that is sent back and forth to your smartphone, wherever it is, although you need the internet for that, the information is not big. We're talking about bits, bytes, not megatera or gig. We're talking about small amounts of information that gets sent. Because at the end, we're not looking at firmware updates and all these things that bog down the bandwidth. At the end, we're just sending basic data, things that are already in your phone because of the apps that you will be using for. But it basically shows you information that are basic, the amount of power that is being consumed by the equipment, if there's something wrong. I mean, there's not a huge amount of information that gets sent back and forth. It's something that you can bring with you through your mobile device, but it also doesn't hamper the normal. Because not all phones are created equal. Meron not so powerful, meron state of the art. But in the end, the information is what's key, and it's not dependent on the type of hardware that you're using. So it gives you that information without bogging you down. The idea is to enable you to have information. Pero kumbaga parang, okay, by the way, kailangan bumili ng the top of the line phones, or you need what's this, fiber optic speeds and all this. No, of course not. Kung gusto pa yung dial-up, if we have the dial-up, it will surely work. Because the amount of information that is being sent back and forth is not. And you will not have firmware updates all of a sudden. Bakit hindi ako nakakakunik? Kasi nag-update automatically. That's not something that we will be looking into the smart panel.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Mike. Sue, do you have any other question? Okay, thank you so much. Yes, sir. Did you have a question?
Hi, sorry I was late. I'm not sure if it was answered already, so I have basically two questions. My name is Ron. I'm from the Philippine Bloggers Network. Number one, first question: is the smart panel affordable, applicable to SMEs, or is it just for the enterprise class businesses? Secondly, 2018-2019, is there anything new that you guys are going to be bringing in that, it's going to be a game changer, that's going to be exciting, that's going to, so two questions there.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you for your question. I'll answer two parts. The first part is regarding smart panel, being brought to the Philippines. Is it applicable to SMEs? Yes, it's applicable. At the end of the day, as mentioned earlier, it depends on how the owner, how the investor or the operator sees the benefits of the smart panel. Is it affordable? Yes. Like I said earlier, there's nothing very different about a smart panel with a regular panel. Of course, there are additional costs to that, but it's not inhibitive. The costs are, I should say, justifiable, in the grand scheme of things, because it answers problems much bigger than the cost that you place there. So yeah, it's applicable even to homes. It's applicable to SMEs, big enterprises. No, it doesn't matter the end user. Depends on how much benefit he sees from using the smart panel. It's definitely not going to be inhibitive in terms of pricing. So the second question is anything new for 2018? This is it. 2018 smart panels. This is a game changer for us, because at the end there are a lot of things that a lot of manufacturers can copy. It's easy, but the whole concept of bringing all of these things together, making sure that connected products are controlled by software that translates into apps and analytics that people can use. This is something that's, I don't think is currently being offered, nor is being developed at the level we are in right now as Schneider. I invite everybody, actually, if you can join us later at the Innovation Hub. Smart panels are there. It's energized. It's not for show. It's working. It's energized. May kuryente. It's plugged into the light source. It's plugged into a microwave. I think it's an electric fan. You can manipulate it later, and you can see with your smartphone. You can connect to the smart panel and switch off the lights. So even if you're somewhere in Japan enjoying your vacation and you're worried about your house looking like walang tao, you can switch on the breaker that controls the lights, and all of a sudden, hey, may tao pa rin, even if you're somewhere else. So this is at the forefront, the smart panel. Of course, we're looking at the bigger scale of EcoStruxure, which is a platform for all of these technologies to be put together. But on the simplest level, on the basic level, the smart panel, this is something that we're bringing in 2018.
After the smart panel, nothing besides it. It's just you're going to be concentrating on the smart panel in the next 2 years.
Well, the smart panel is on the forefront, as I mentioned, but EcoStruxure, the software, building management systems, automation, all of these things form part in the EcoStruxure. It's a bigger scale. You will see each one of them, EcoStruxure, building, power, Omar mentioned it earlier. All of them are in the innovation. So you get to learn more about what EcoStruxure is about. I'm talking to you about smart panels because it's at the forefront. Every one of these EcoStruxure platforms will have connected products in them. And smart panel is this. It is the gateway to EcoStruxure.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Mike. Ron, do you have any more questions? Fantastic. I think that actually really does drill down also that we have the Innovation Hub happening downstairs, and we in fact will be taking you on a tour. Everybody in this room will be assisted by the ladies from Team Asia. We will be taking you on a tour at the Innovation Hub so that you can not only learn about these different innovations and technologies, but you get to also experience them. And maybe at this point, I would also like to ask Homer if you could also remind us again of the breakout sessions that will shed light in all of these different innovations as well.
So again, we'll be having 4 breakout sessions. So one will be
buildings and power, how to become more energy efficient on a building perspective. So again, we have panelists from the industry and the experts from Schneider. And then we have the grid part, the energy part. So we'll be talking about smart grid. So our local distribution utility will be present in that panel. And then we have the data center. So for our telcos, for our BPOs. And then lastly, we have the industry for all the manufacturing plants. So these are 4 breakout sessions that we invite everyone to attend.
Thank you, Homer. I think that also will give us a sneak peek into